This is a presentation of 18 WJTS Jasper Wildcat Football. This broadcast is brought to you by
Master Brand Cabinets, Maringer Plumbing and Heating, DuBois County Garage Doors, DuBois County Tire, West Side Dairy Queen, Eubelor & Sons, Carpet Warehouse, and McDonald's.
Now let's go down to the field.
All right, welcome to Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. Tonight, the Jasper Wildcats, 1-0 on the season, will take on another SIAC opponent in the Evansville Harrison Warriors, whose record is 0-1 after their loss against Evansville Rights last week. Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Schneider, along with Bob Welp and Jeremy Marcos on the video. And Bob, now, first of all, taking a look at what the Wildcats pulled off last week, knocking off the number 1 Evansville Memorial Tigers 14-3. And a football game that was tied at halftime, one where the Wildcats were moving up and down the field in the first half, but unfortunately with 3 lost fumbles and an interception, weren't able to get across the goal line for a score there. But, you know, the thing is, when I look at that football game, obviously we were able to kind of take control of the game and win the game 14-3. But what I was most impressed with, for the most part, number one, was the defense, because obviously the first score was the, I guess, around 70-yard return by Ashton Schneider for a touchdown on the fumble recovery. But, man, Memorial was still able to do what they wanted. I mean, as far as their quarterback being able to throw the ball, but he obviously couldn't get them into the end zone. And they had some drives where they were getting deep into Wildcat territory. But it seemed like whenever it got close and they got into that red zone, the Wildcat defense just really dominated at that point.
Well, yeah, Schneider, when you look at the big points of the game, Schneider was the one that really got the momentum swinging over. Now, anybody that witnessed the game, either through our broadcast or came live, you never felt that Jasper was going to lose that game. You know? And the only thing we were doing was holding our breath, hoping that Memorial didn't hit a big play or miscues. But, you know, Schneider took that one away. But I think Jasper, you know, they just need to do a whole lot more of the same. You know, ride Dawkins. Coach Lewis calls it the midway, where man comes out, hands it into Dawkins, kind of reads the defense as he pull it back out and follow Dawkins through the hole, which is how they scored the offense on their touchdown. So defense really got the ball going for them until the offense can go, because no matter who you play in the SIAC, you cough the ball up, you're going to get beat more often than pull out a victory.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, the Wildcats were actually against the rush last week. 19 carries for 27 yards, and they're going to face a Harrison team that also likes to run the football. And you know, they actually last week against Wrights, they actually, you know, the score was 52-26, so they did put a little bit of offense on the board. Most of it came of the rush, 224 yards of rushing or of offense and 145 rushing the football. And you know, they actually got a couple good young running backs, and this is a football team that only has 4 seniors on it. But look for Billy Sears, who had a 5-yard touchdown last week, and also Albert Wadlington. Those are going to be 2 guys that I think they're really going to try to key on as far as running the football tonight.
Yeah, and I had told you a little bit earlier that I was able to see some of the Harrison Wrights game, and that may have been the final score, but just getting into the fourth quarter, it was 39-3.
Okay.
You know, and then Wrights rolled some guys out there, and they got some scores. They're big and they're strong and they're in the SIAC, so you know they've got speed. Jasper stays disciplined, controls the line of scrimmage like they did against Memorial. I think we'll be fine.
And the thing is, with the Harrison Warriors, Mo Sutton's in his first year coaching this team, and actually he played for the Warriors back in the 90s. He was a 1,000-yard rusher as a fullback, leading Harrison to the 97 5A sectional title as a senior. He played college football at the University of Indianapolis and spent most of his coaching career at Indianapolis Pike High School. He was a strength coach and assistant coach there, and that's a 6A school and an outstanding program up in Indianapolis. But he had the opportunity to come back and help Harrison try to get back to those days, because, I mean, you know, you look at Harrison historically, I mean, they won sectionals in 86, 90, 93, 96, and 97. That's 4 sectionals in the 90s that they won. And then, of course, you know, Jasper fans will remember in 2015 when they pretty well dominated Jasper 48-13 the sectional championship, when Corey Brunson was their coach, who's now the head coach at Wrights. But, you know, again, this is a Harrison program that historically has had some success, but they've had some lean years too.
Well, Harrison, nobody's ever said that they've never had the athletes. they got athletes, you know. Calvert Cheney, basketball, I mean, they're all the way through there.
Right.
A lot of it is your attitude, and if you get down, do you continue to drive? Maybe some good things happen. You get a cheap turnover here and score there, and, you know, who knows, but can you keep your attitude up? And so Harrison, if this coach can get their attitudes to go with what appears to be a heck of an athletic team, Jasper better be on their A game.
Absolutely. So, again, the Wildcats, and you also have to just make sure you come down a little bit because, you know, again, a great win last week and showing that the Wildcats can contend in the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference, but you got to keep doing it week in and week out because there are good opponents every single weekend when you play in the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference. So there's a kickoff right there, and that's Alex Summersine with the kicking duties again for the Wildcats, and it's fielded at the 5-yard line.
Don't let him get outside.
Get to the outside, and there you go. You talk about having the ability to break one away, and that's the Harrison Warriors number 3, Trayvon Hooks, who last week had a 78-yard punt return that set up a Harrison touchdown. But, yeah, the Harrison Warriors, and you'll see out there, and actually weren't able to get our hands on the starting lineup for the team, but I know their quarterback is Evan Doan, number 6. He's a 5'10", 165-pound junior who will be taking snaps in the shotgun formation there.
Yeah, and they're coming 3 wide to this side. I highly doubt that they're going to run in there. I would think a little screen here, perhaps. That's what this is a lineup they showed against Wrights, and that's what they did out of it.
All right, so right off the bat, they're going to run the football to the left side, and the Wildcats not given much room there as they will run it to the just beyond the 35-yard line, so maybe a gain of 2 on that play.
You know, they're trying to hurry up a little bit, not let Jasper substitute.
So 2nd and 8. Another run up there, and Maringer comes up from his strong safety spot to help stop him before he gains about 3 yards on that play, and running the football there for the Warriors, actually number 31, who is not on the roster here, so
well,
contend with some things there.
Yeah, if Jasper continues to make contact with the Harrison players like they did on that last one, it's going to be a tough night for the guys in white.
All right, so Evan Doan facing a 3rd and 5 here from the 38-yard line.
Bringing heat.
Rolls out, and he has to get rid of it quickly, so good pressure there. Defensive end spot over there who had a nice week last week. That's Michael Beekler, and I'll tell you, the Wildcats actually had 6 tackles for loss, and Beekler had one of those for a 5-yard loss last week.
Well, the defense sold out on that when they opened up the middle right there where the linebackers usually are. They sent everybody up there, and that's one of those that if they don't get pressure, Jasper's really vulnerable, but they're doing their job and getting to where they're supposed to be.
Terrible punt there, but it's going to get a little bit of a roll there to help the Warriors move the Wildcats back to about the 32-yard line is where they'll have it 1st and 10. So the Wildcats with 3 and out, doing their job defensively there. Now the Wildcat offense on the field for the first time, and that is Blake Mann, the quarterback, number 5. And last week he actually had an outstanding game, both running and he had some nice throws as well. 5 of 8 passing for 62 yards, hooking up with Connor Foley a couple times and also Caleb Berger, but he also rushed for 89 yards and the Wildcat lone offensive touchdown last week.
Well, they're taking him under center. It'd be interesting to see if they run him out of shotgun at all this week.
So 1st and 10 to the left side. That's Mann, and there he goes again. Just so elusive. He did that a number of times last week where you thought he gave it up to the fullback, Dawkins, on a play, and next thing you know, he's running for about 10, 15 yards, and right there, he runs for 10 yards for a 1st down, so 1st and 10 from the 42.
Well, if that run's going to be indicative of how his night's going to go, we're in pretty good shape because when he was getting contact from the blind side, 2 arms were on that ball.
So ball rests right actually just shy of the 43-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. And this time keeps it again, so Mann And I think he's reading that option there where he's got the option of either giving it up to the fullback, Dawkins there, but he's seeing some wide open runs there, and so far 18 yards and 2 carries.
Well, I think it's pretty safe to say right now that the Harrison defense is keying on Dawkins, and man, the last 2 plays has done an excellent job of reading that defense and where those linebackers are going and keeping them and getting positive yards.
So the ball right there at the 50-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. I'm sorry, 2nd and 2, excuse me. Just underway here, the Wildcats against the Warriors. Now Dawkins gets his first carry, and it goes for a 1st down as he lumbers for 4 yards there.
Well, when Dawkins got through the line about 2 yards, there was Day, and he was locked up with his defender as he was blocking, and that's the only place that Dawkins can go. He pushed both of them past the 1st down marker, which is a plus for the black and gold.
Right. And the Wildcats starting their same offensive line here with center Ashton Sheeter, number 53. The guards are Kelly, 66, and Quade Pope. Tackles are Chanley and Gus Heichelbeck, number 64.
That's a good
man's
ball.
Got a wide
That's
open
a good ball.
receiver downfield and can't quite connect there with Jack Albrand, a little bit long there.
Well, you're right, Craig, just a little bit. I mean, it was there, but now Harrison knows Jasper will take the shot. So maybe that'll loosen him up on the defense a little bit. I'm sure the coaches are looking out there and seeing that Harrison's game plan right now is to take Dawkins out of the game. You know, try to slow that rushing game down, make man beat him through the air.
All right, so the Wildcats go with kind of a double wing formation, but they give it to Dawkins, and he gets across the 40 down to about the 37-yard line. So the run game right on with the Wildcats where they left off last week, 256 yards, and they were led by Dawkins, who had 22 carries for 128 in last week's game.
Yeah, and several of those yards came with Memorial defenders hanging on his back. Now, I've noticed his big run right there is they're bouncing it out a little bit. If you watch the linebackers for Harrison, they're really sneaking in the middle, trying to take that dive away.
The Cats staying tight again on this formation. Man's going to keep it, and he gets across the 35, close to the 30-yard line, so he'll run it right there, and they'll spot it at the 31. So another 1st down for the Wildcats, and Man with a nice pickup of about 6 or 7 there.
You know what I really like watching about Man when he gets to the outside and he knows that the defensive backs are coming through, and he's a pretty good-sized guy, so he's not really shying away from the cornerbacks as you would a 270-pound lineman, but his head's always constantly moving, trying to pick up the defender, and that's plants his foot, and away he goes.
So Day comes in motion. Now Man drops back to throw, and he's going to loft it out there, and that's Berger wide open, and he cannot haul it in. The pass was there. Berger kind of got turned around a little bit there, but I think he might have come down out of bounds had he hauled that in. So 2 long balls, nothing to show for it, but that long play is there, Bob.
I tell you, he throws a pretty good ball, and, you know, the angle that Berger was down, it's just one of those things, you know, what do you concentrate more on, trying to catch a ball or staying out of bounds? And usually when it's thinking about the out of bounds one is when you bobble the ball.
Right.
Always the first thing you do, you know, look the ball in.
All right, so 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass there. It stops the clock at 7:54, just underway. Wildcats against the Harrison Warriors, and there goes Man to the right side. He's going to be close to the 1st down. Gets to about the 22-yard line is where they'll spot the football, so he's about a yard short.
Now, what was amazing about that run is Man was coming this way, following Dawkins in the hole, but he was able to see kind of behind him a little bit that there was no pressure on the backside. Playing his foot, went back to the right side, got a nice gain out of it. It seems like as soon as he plants that foot, he's almost at full speed in that next step.
Right. It's actually some good size as far as you mentioned that before the football game. Harrison with a couple good players up front, but they're young, with including sophomore Kalen Miller, number 10, at 280 pounds, 6'2", in the defensive tackle spot. This time he gives it to Dawkins, and Dawkins is going for the end zone. And does he get in? Yes, he did. So Dawkins from 22 yards out on a dive to the right side, and he's able to lumber his way all the way in for the touchdown.
Absolutely outstanding job by the Jasper coaching staff there. You know, they were taking Dawkins away. They just kept going back to man, giving him the option. Man was making the right choice. He hits about 2 or 3 plays in a row. They start concentrating on him, and here comes Thunder.
Right.
You know, going right down and taking it to the house.
All right, so the extra point set up for Alex Sermersheim. And just like last week, pops it through. So Alex Sermersheim 3 for 3 on the season on PATs, and the Wildcats lead this football game early, 7-0 here on 18 WJTS. All right, we're back once again here at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. The Wildcats with their first possession march right down to the football field. Runs by Blake Mann and also Lance Dawkins. Dawkins finishing it off with a 22-yard touchdown run. And Sermersheim has it teed up and pops it straight ahead. Will be fielding, actual trouble fielding it, but fielded there at the 9-yard line. Now the Cats get on it, and good job. There we go. I think that was number 9, Will Winesapple. No, is that 9 or 3? I can't see the number. Yeah, I think it is 9.
Well,
but, Winesapple doing a great job on coverage there.
Well, they're going with those new uniforms, and the numbers are kind of scrunching a little bit.
Yep.
Here, I'll bail you out. You know, last week with everything that Dawkins and Mann and, you know, that Schneider, you know, taking the ball back, their special teams for Jasper did very well last week.
Yeah.
Very well.
All right, so Harrison really pushed back this time for quarterback Evan Doan. And actually finding an opening to the right side. That's number 31. I'm, again, trying to figure out who that is because he's not on the roster. However, there is a Jay Sean Campbell, who's a senior, 6 foot, but he's 310. So
yeah, he doesn't look like he's going 310.
Because I was looking at a player that's on the roster but doesn't have a number there. So
Jasper did a great job of clogging up the middle where they wanted to go.
Yeah.
But he was fast enough to get to the outside on a little bounce out.
All right, so we'll just call him by his number. And a run to the left side. And good job by the Wildcat defense over there, including Kibbe. Number 63 for the Cats, Liam Kibbe, who led the Wildcats with 6 solo tackles last week. But also notice Quade Pope is actually getting a start in a defensive tackle, number 69 out there, who also starts as a guard on the offensive side.
Pope's got a good balance underneath. He's a hard man to move.
All right, so Harrison in a real tough situation. Ball rests at the 5-yard line, 3rd and 8.
Surely they ain't going to put it up in the air.
Now they look for it, and actually he tries to dump it off there, and it falls incomplete. Basically, Cats with great pressure on the quarterback there, including Kibbe, 63. So that's going to force him to punt. So the Wildcat defense doing the job, 2 3 and outs, and really pushing Harrison back. So they have great field position.
Well, they
should have it here.
Yeah, their defense was so outstanding that, you know, they were way down by their goal line. I can't believe they tried to throw that ball.
Yeah.
But they know their running game's not working.
So another low punt by the quarterback Evan Doan, which will just roll dead right there at the 36-yard line. So the Jasper Wildcats have a great opportunity here to put more points on the board, leading 7-0 with 5:38 on the clock as Blake Mann gets set for his second series of downs here for the Wildcat offense.
Well, I think Mann's going out, and I think the Jasper offense through the course of the week, yeah, they got the win last week, but when they watch the film and they see the small mistakes, the fumbles and all that, they really feel that that score should have been more lopsided in their favor. And I agree it should have been. And I think tonight, the way they've started this game, they're out to prove that, hey, you know, we're going to get rid of those mistakes. This is our product on the field.
That's one thing Coach Lewis was focusing on, is that this team has just got to protect the football and hang on to it strongly whenever they run the ball. And so far, so good for the Cats, and actually draw the Harrison Warrior line off sides there. So a good job there by Mann and the center Schneider to make that happen.
Well, Mann was really starting to get good at that towards the end of the season last year, being able to use his voice instead of bouncing his head like he did at the beginning of last year, and he got some flags on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was pretty solid right there. He had about 4 of them jump off.
So 1st and 5 after the penalty here, and brings Day in motion, but they give it to the fullback, and it's going to be an easy run. So the second touch for Lance Dawkins, this time 26 yards for the touchdown. So the last 2 touches for him put 12 points on the board for the Wildcats.
Well, whenever we talk about Lance Dawkins, we always talk about his power. You know, he does have that burst of speed. I mean, I'm sure he's not the fastest guy on the team, but he's fast enough.
Right.
And when you get behind him, you know, the defender did all he could trying to get to the back of his legs. You know, the first touchdown, he tried to jump on his shoulder pads, and Dawkins took him 3 yards. So, you know, it was kind of a guess.
All right, so weren't able to handle the snap there. But number 6, Joey McGimsey, actually finds number 89, Connor Foley, for the 2-point conversion. So that's one of those situations where, you know, again, you basically call the hot play whenever something like that happens, and the Wildcats come up with an extra point with 2 points on the board there. So Jasper leads 15-0 with 5:32 to go here in the first quarter. You're watching the Wildcats here on 18 WJTS. So Sermersheim, number 12, will be set to kick it off. He wasn't able to kick the extra point as the Wildcats had a tough time handling the snap there, but come up with 2 points on the pass to Foley, and ball handled at the 10-yard line, and there's an opening up the middle of the field, but a good job there at the last second. I think it was, again, Will Winesapple making the stop there. But, again, we said Trayvon Hooks, he's got the ability. We mentioned last week he had a nice long punt return against Wright, so they got to keep an eye on him on the special teams.
Well, Jasper had him dead to rights, and he slipped through and got himself another 9. When he bounced up, he was really trying to get his team fired up. So let's see if it does anything, because Jasper on defense has been quite dominant.
All right, so Harrison with a lot better field position this time, starting from the 26-yard line. 1st and 10, and we got a penalty flag here.
It looked like the left side of that line jumped a little bit, but Jasper jumped too, so.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so a 5-yard penalty. So again, Harrison still looking for their first down. They've had 2 possessions, 3 and out both times. Were pushed back on their last possession, starting at the 3-yard line. Quick pass there to the outside. So connection between the quarterback, Doan, going to Garrett Whipple, number 5, and that's going to be just short of the first down.
Nice job with the ball came out what we all called the lame duck, you know, when it's not a tight spiral like man throws. But he did a nice job of corralling it while he was getting hit and get a couple extra yards.
So 2 yards shy of the first down, 2nd and 2. Ball rests at the 29-yard line. And the give is to 31, straight up the middle, and he's going to have enough for the first down. So the Harrison Warriors record their first down with 4:49 to go here in the first quarter. They're trailing the Jasper Wildcats 15-0.
I think if Jasper stays with shutting down the middle the way they are, I just don't think this quarterback, he may make a play here and there, but he's not going to beat you. Just take away the middle of the field and pinch everything back into the middle, and you should be fine.
So Doan communicating with his receiver, Nolan Doan, on the outside. Now tries to set up the screen up the middle, and it actually does fall incomplete, but it ricocheted off one of the offensive linemen. So that play didn't work. Good pressure by the Wildcats. And that's the thing with the screen. A lot of times they obviously are letting the defenders get in there, but the Cats doing a nice job getting in the quarterback's face and forcing that incomplete pass.
Well, Memorial ran their screens. They were more wing screens out here to the receivers. The screens that I've seen coming back from Harrison has all been in the middle. And you try to do that to try to keep the linebackers for Jasper honest so they're not stunting all the time.
All right, so 2nd down and 10. Ball the 37-yard line. There's a pass. It should have been picked off just right off the fingertips of Luke Dawkins, number 14. So the Wildcats with good coverage there. And again, Doan really getting rid of that football quickly for the Harrison football team out there.
Man, you take a couple of shots from the black and gold out there, you know, you're going to hear those footsteps after a while. But he had no business throwing that ball. Jasper's all over that one.
All right, so a 3rd down and 10. Stops the clock at 4:20. Jasper up 15-0 here in the first quarter. So he's got Nolan Doan split out here to the outside, including number 1, Xavier Thomas. But he tries to chuck it out there, and Albrand had that also. Couldn't quite corral it back in. So the pass was a little bit short, but so that's going to set up a 4th down situation here. So Harrison does come up with a 1st down on this drive, but nothing after that.
Well, that
3 incomplete passes.
That interception, or if he would have pulled that interception off, that would have been 2 weeks in a row where the defensive back tipped the ball to himself and made an outstanding interception.
Right. High snap there, and Cats almost get to the punter, but now it's going to bounce, and no opportunity for Day to return that, so it's going to rest right there at the 30-yard line. 4:07 to go here in the first quarter. 15-0. Jasper on their 3rd offensive possession. 2 touchdowns so far by Lance Dawkins, number 23 of 22 yards and 26 yards. And I know we tried the long ball a couple times there, but I think you just keep continuing with the ball control, get it to about a 21-point lead, hopefully on this, or 21, 22-point lead. But,
I agree.
Work on a little bit of your passing game here. You want to get the game under control. Bring the man in motion, that's Day, but the quarterback keeps it, and he's still moving out there, so Blake Mann, Harrison having a tough time stopping him tonight.
Yeah, he's really got all facets of his game going right now. Even though the 2 incompletes on the deep balls, they were really good-looking deep balls, and they were there. He pulled out a couple of miraculous ones last week, especially with that 4th and 7 with Foley across the middle. But I think Harrison's starting to change their game plan for man and taking it off of Dawkins, and then those 2 plays by Dawkins, so hopefully he'll get a 60-yarder here.
Really are stacking the deck, though, and now Mann looking to throw, but now he's got opening to the left side, and it's wide open as he gets across midfield, 50 down to the 40, and lowers his shoulder and knocks the helmet right off of Patrick Wade, number 11. So Blake Mann showing some strength on that play.
That right there will fire up a football team. And it's coming all the way up here to the press box. That was impressive.
Right. So a 25-yard or 23-yard run on that play. So Blake Mann with an 8-yard run, 23 yards on the scamper. And the Wildcats in Harrison territory at the 39.
Well, Mann is able to get to the outside, and he's got as good a speed as anybody out there on that football field.
Day comes in motion. Mann keeps it, running the option, pitches out to Day, so Day's able to get across the 30 to see where they spot this. It's at the 28 or 27-yard line, 28-yard line, so 11-yard pickup there.
Yeah, Blake Mann is being the man right now. Everything is working. That was a great pitch, perfect timing. When he looked out to the pitch man and the defender stepped up, if he takes one step towards the guy he's pitching to, Mann keeps it up the middle. But he read it great, got the ball out there just perfect.
Yeah, the Cats had a little trouble with that pitch last week. A couple fumbles lost. There comes Mann. Actually looked like it was going to be a counter play, but he ends up hanging on to the football, and I think he's going to get back at least to the line of scrimmage, so no gain on that play.
Well, that drive is, or that set of downs right there is not starting out like we'd see, but like to see. But I got to think that with this lead, Coach Lewis is looking this as 4-down territory. Yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, unless you get close enough, because Sermersheim
looks good.
Oh yeah, so far so good. 3 extra points put through the goalpost so far in this season. 3 for 3. Albrand gets split to the right side. In the backfield for the Wildcats in a slot position is number 16, Ian Giesler. Now there's the option, and he pitches out to Giesler to the left side. He cuts in, gets across the 20 to about the 18-yard line. So a nice play there. And that should be see if they move the sticks or not. Yeah, it looks like they are. So a 10-yard pickup, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
Well, it worked so nicely the first time. I guess the coaching staff thought, hey, let's see if the well still has some water in it. And by that 1st down, you can see that the Cats are running the outside just beautiful tonight.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the 18-yard line. The running play with the option now on this drive is working. Now there's the counter, and good penetration there by the Warriors. That's number 45, Braxton Daughtery. So he comes up from his linebacker spot, knocks the Wildcats back for about a 3 or 4 yard loss there.
Well, as you and I have talked, when you have a defense that are starting to stunt because the run game just killing them, they can't let man get out into open territory, so they've got to hit him just as he's planting his foot. And sometimes you guess wrong, and that's what happened there, but it's the only time tonight.
So man sets up under center at the 21-yard line. A little slant pass there and way in front of Foley, who he's intended for. So a little off on the timing, but we got a penalty flag right there at the 20.
I think it's going against Jasper.
All right, so a little bit of movement, pre-movement on the line somewhere there. So that's going to push the Wildcats back 5.
You know, they take that penalty, then Jasper keeps that down. I'd almost decline this.
I don't know if they're discussing or not, but a lot of times if you have movement on the line, it's an automatic penalty. So.
Yeah, but they never blew the play dead.
True.
Maybe it was a legal shift.
Right. All right, so 5 yards back, set up the Wildcats 2nd and 18 now from the 26-yard line. So the option here, he's able to pitch it out to the right side, and that's Berger. Berger with nice movement to the right, and he's going to get back to close to the original line of scrimmage to about the 18-yard line. So a pickup of 10 on that play will set up 3rd and 8 or 9 here.
I would not have
3rd and 10.
I would not have accepted that penalty if I had the choice. Now, maybe there's an official out there looking at this. You know, I'm not sure that they had the option to turn that down, but goodness gracious, if I was Harrison, I sure would have and put Jasper in a 3rd and long instead of a 2nd.
So substitution, seeing number 13 on the field for the Wildcats, and I think there's confusion of what's going on. That's Cooper Ewing.
Timeout, Jasper.
But Cats will take a timeout, and we'll take a break here too with just 7.6 seconds to go in the first quarter. Cats lead 15-0 over the Harrison Warriors here on 18 WJTS. So the Wildcat football team back on the field for the final play of this first quarter. They lead 15-0, set at the 19-yard line, so actually looks like about a 3rd and 11 we're looking at.
With Foley's size, this may not be a bad area for him.
And the Cats are going to roll out, so there's man looking across the field, and there he is, Foley. Good call, Bob, and he hits Foley across on the hidden route there for a touchdown, so 19 yards. So man doing it on the ground, now up in the air, and hits so far one of his favorite targets, number 89 for the score.
Yeah, the big play last week and coming around, and he put the ball where he had to. Foley had to stretch a little bit more than he wanted to, but he was able to get it. The defender was right on his hip, so, you know, ball placed perfectly so the defender can't get it, and Foley making a little extra effort, and he gets rewarded with 6 points.
All right, so McGimsey there again to a little high snap, but he's able to get it down, and a good job by Sermersheim to pop it right through. So Jasper leads Harrison 22-0. Right towards the end of the first quarter, didn't even use up all the clock. 1.6 when we come back here on 18 WJTS. Jasper 22, Harrison nothing. This here should be the final play with 1.6 to go here in the first quarter. Another pop kick there, and we'll be fielding about the 10.
Oh, nice
and
coverage.
Good coverage by the Cats, so nice job. Trying to see who actually made that play. I think it was number 8. Was that Charlie Cabrick? Helped making that stop. So that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Jasper 22, Harrison nothing here on 18 WJTS. We're here set to start the second quarter. The Wildcats Coming off a 19-yard touchdown hookup. Blake Mann going to Connor Foley, number 89, and the kick was good by Sermersheim. 22-0, Wildcats lead. And Harrison with the football at the 14. Quick pitch and catch there. And Maringer just missing the tackle, but Albrand coming up to make the stop. So a pick up to the 18-yard line. So a pickup of about 4 on that play.
Well, that was what Memorial was trying to do, and I guess that they're kind of out of options because what I seen them do last week, I didn't see them do that. And, you know, they went the whole first quarter without a wide receiver screen. Maybe that's where they're going to try to start attacking Jasper because they can't move the middle.
So Doan's actually over there on the sideline trying to get his play, but the play clock's down to 4, 3, 2, 1 and see if he gets it off. And actually Harrison has to call the timeout, so it's a little confusion on the play there. The quarterback spent a lot of time. I thought he was one of the wide receivers split out there. I was looking for who was going to be behind center. So, all right, we'll take a break here. 22-0, Jasper leads here on 18 WJTS. On the field, set for their play here after the timeout and the confusion on the play call over there.
Well, that was a good timeout by their sidelines. Harrison struggling enough on offense right now, other than trying to rush a play like that deep in your own territory. Should get a flag here.
And we do. So there's movement on the Harrison line. So I think that might have been on number 75, Trayvon Williams, 6'5", 320-pound tackle on the right side, and he's paired up with Kalen Miller, who's also on the defensive line. So second down, 11 now for the Harrison Warriors, and they're just trying to get it into playmaker's hands, and that's Hooks, but he's not able to get anywhere on that sweep. Nice coverage by the Wildcat left side of the defense.
Well, the pursuit angles were really, really good, and they're taking into account that the 11 defenders they have out there, their pal, the 12th defender, the sideline, he can't go out. So they just rode him out all the way, pinched him down, and that was a heck of a play. That young man had a lot of speed.
So Hooks actually brought down for a 2-yard loss on that play.
He's hobbling off.
Yeah, he actually is, isn't he? So now 3rd down and 12 for the Warriors. Doan's looking to the middle of the field, and he's got a nice hook up there. It should be close to that first down. So he's able to hit Garrett Whipple, 5', 950-pound junior, right across the middle, and that is a first down. So a 12-yard hook up there.
Yeah, you feel pretty good about getting that first down, but the shot that he took at the end, he'll remember that. Jasper's doing a great job of squaring up and driving through the guy tonight. No arm tackles so far.
Sets up the football at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Jasper up 22-0 against Harrison. Their second first down of the game. Now a little pitch out there, trying again to get it into Hook's hands, but it falls incomplete.
Well, the majority of their plays, if you look back 7, 8 plays, have been to like the jet sweep, trying to get their speed to the corners. Because if they get 3 yards on you when they cut, they have enough speed to where they'll take it to the house. But Jasper is doing a great job on pursuit, staying at home, and stretching him out to the sidelines.
So Connor Foley checks in at a defensive end spot for number 24, Beekler. But now they're going to try a little draw play straight up the middle, and Wildcats able to slow that play down, including Schneider in on the play, and then also number 58, Jacob Potts.
Well, that's a nice little game, but they're just not doing anything up the middle. That defense is really playing stout.
All right, so a 3rd down situation here, 3rd and 7. Ball rests at the 28-yard line. Evan Doan, the quarterback for the Harrison Warriors.
Jasper bringing heat.
Looking straight up the middle, and he's got a man, and just a shoestring tackle at the last second there by Giesler prevents number 1, Xavier Thomas, from a big pickup there.
Thomas did a great job there. He got the ball up on his fingertips and popped it up. And when the defender, took his legs out, his forward momentum, he was able to take it and wrap it back into his insides. And that was a really, really good offensive play. Defense was where they should have been. It was a good pass and a heck of a catch.
So about 30 yards on that play. Sets up the Warriors, but Cats get really good penetration there. Again, Kibbe making a stop, number 63 for the Wildcats, getting in the backfield.
Well, he's been causing havoc all night. I'm sure at halftime they're going to kind of point his number out to the offensive lineman. And I could be made to look silly here shortly if they pop one up the middle, but I'm really surprised. I know it's in midway through the second quarter and you don't want to abandon your game plan, but you're just not doing anything against this interior defense of Jasper.
And the thing is, with the Harrison Warriors, at least on this drive, 2 pass plays, netted their first downs there. Now again, trying to get it to the outside. This time he hooks up with number 7, Pete Brown, and that actually is going to go for about a 1-yard loss.
7 on the reception for the Warriors.
Jacob Hotz did a great job of coming in from his linebacker position and rolling out and taking away the inside, because once again the Jasper defender here on the near side took away to where if he kept going he was going out of bounds, turned it back in, and he took a licking.
So 3rd down and 15. Ball at the 45-yard line. So Evan Doan pitches out to the right side, and this time Hooks has it, and Hooks showing some speed there, getting across the 40 down to about the 36-yard line. So they're able to get 9 yards back to set up a little bit more reasonable 4th down situation.
Yeah, and there he goes hobbling off again. I guess he took a shot, may have rolled an ankle. But, I mean, he covered a large amount of real estate in a short amount of time there, but Jasper's given up, keeping everything in front of them. They were going to give up 8-9 yards. Now they stop him here.
So we'll call it 4th down and 5. Dones gets it out to the outside, and if the Cats can slow him up, and I think he's going to be short of that 1st down, depends on the spot here.
It sure looks
he needed
like
about
it.
5, and he got right around 5, so he's able to hook up there with Garrett Whipple. So he's starting to really kind of whip the ball around to some different receivers this time.
Well, if the ball was marked on the far side, Judge, as compared to this guy in here, but I guess they're because he was a little bit further down the field than what the other one was.
Yeah, because actually the marker was just between the 30 and the 31-yard line, and they're not, he wasn't able to get beyond the 31, so obviously that's short, and so the Wildcats will have 1st and 10.
Boy, where he placed the ball right there, I mean, he was close. But, another Jasper defensive stop. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, the Wildcat defense doing it tonight.
I know this is Evansville Harrison. They'll probably end up midway to maybe a little bit below 500 in the conference. But Jasper's interior line, they've got some good-sized guys in there, and their defensive line is just – they just have an attitude that you're not going to move the ball on us, and that's just the way it is.
Well, I think it's just a really good combination of size and quickness on that defensive line. And then again, when you can take a guy like Schneider, we obviously saw how fast he was running that fumble return last week where he's pulling away from the defenders. But, he plays linebacker and also offensive line at the center spot. But, again, he's just an example of how quick a lot of our defensive players are, no matter what position they play. And the Cats doing a good job there to draw Harrison off again.
Well, that right there is just like you said. That's center and quarterback right there. Because if the quarterback does have a little bit of twinge, for the center to be able to hold on to the ball, because you go by that movement. And so you got 2 guys working there. Man doing a nice job of changing his voice without bouncing his head.
So defensive offsides, and he's trying to snap the ball, and they actually do, as Harrison had one too many players on the field hustling off with Miles Hawkins, number 55, but they actually throw the penalty flag, and so this is going to be an automatic 1st down for the Wildcats.
One guy that when you see stuff like that where the guy's running off the field and they snap the ball, Peyton Manning. I know he was one of the best, but man, it seemed like every game, 2-3 times he was catching guys on the field.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because actually the play looks like maybe just short of the first down, so they declined it actually. All right, so the Cats take the play, but they're still saying it's a first down. Okay. All right, so the Wildcats take the play and get the first down on the rush. All right, so 1st and 10, ball at the 41-yard line, just shy of the 42.
We want to see if Harrison's linebackers start to go to the outside. Then you'll probably see Dawkins again.
So they give it to Dawkins. No, actually, Mann has it this time, and he's crossed the 50 to the 45 and stumbles to about the 38-yard line.
He's doing a really good job of not taking hits. Now, I know that he knocked this young man's helmet off, and I haven't seen that young man back in the game. He may be floating around there somewhere. Yeah, there he is. He's on the far side. But
yep, number 11.
Man, you don't want to take all the hits. So some of these vicious ones he's able to avoid.
So it sets the Wildcats up at the 43-yard line, 15-yard run there. Now Mann again with the run, and he's going to take this all the way 43 yards for the touchdown. So in just a matter of 2 plays, Mann tacks on another 58 yards, 43 yards for the score with 5:59 to go, 28-0 Jasper.
I made a comment earlier that Harrison was probably changing their defense up a little bit, going towards man as the beginning of the game they started with Dawkins, but that play right there, Dawkins went through the line, and I guess the big man hasn't had the ball in the last 8 or 9 plays, but he had 3 guys bite on him, and Mann's smart enough to pull it out, and away he goes.
All right, so Summersheim out there to kick the extra point. And stays perfect on the season. So another one through. Jasper leads 29-0. 5:59 to go here in the first half. You're watching the Wildcats here on 18 WJTS. Number 80, Sam Leonard's got it teed up to kick off for the Wildcats this time. Summersheim kicking the extra points, but a little change on the kickoff, but he just pops it right there, and it's fielded nicely at the 20-yard line. So an opportunity here, and the Cats are able to stop him at about the 35. So good field position as Xavier Thomas is able to run it to, actually they'll spot at the 34-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Harrison there. They trail the Wildcats 29-0.
Well, Harrison has a couple of times tonight gotten through the first row of defense, when the guys are flying down the field on the kickoff coverage, but they haven't been able to get past the second line. So Jasper keeps that up. They're going to be starting their offensive possessions on their side of the field the whole night.
So the 5th possession for the Harrison Warriors. 3 of them have ended in punts, 1 on downs, and this 5th one starts out with just a short run straight up, gain of 1 on the play.
Well, I guess they're not going to give up on the inside game. I guess you can applaud them for that.
So clock running at 5:34. It's been pretty well domination by the Jasper Wildcats offensively and defensively tonight. Again, their 2nd Southern Indiana Athletic Conference game. Of course, they played Harrison a number of times over the years, mostly in the tournament. And actually, a little movement there, and we'll see if it's on the defense or offense this time.
Well, let's see which coach gets really upset.
It's going to be a 5-yard penalty on the Wildcat defense there, so set up a 2nd and 4 from the 40-yard line.
2nd and 4 at the 40.
Old Coach Shelton's got his head turned a little bit there and letting somebody know he's not too happy.
Doan looks downfield, throws it there, and tries to hook up on a slant play to number 13. That falls incomplete, but no 13 on the roster, so we don't have a 31 or a 13.
Well, it could be the numbers. 1 and 3 are both involved. So,
and I mentioned Harrison only has 4 seniors on this football team, so a very young team for Coach Mo Sutton in his first year as the Harrison Warrior coach. Doan tries to quick hook up on the outside that falls incomplete. But, again, Mo Sutton, and, the thing is, he was talking about it in some of the preseason articles and things that I read, is that a lot of the parents of players that are playing for him now, he actually played with. So he's got a good relationship with the kids and the families and all that. And, he's just really trying to build a new program. And a lot of times when that happens, you have to start out really young. I mean, I see a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this roster here that he's working with this season. Oh, nice job by Day on that fair catch at the 25. But, that's just the situation. I mean, Jasper, when we talk about rebuilding year, that's a 6-4 season or something like that. I mean, some of these other programs that have to start from scratch, because Harrison over the past 3 years was just 4-26 under Coach Lane Oxley. Prior to that, Corey Brunson was there, who's now at Wrights, and he had some really good success with the sectional championship and winning seasons. But, for a thing like Coach Mo Sutton, he's just got to start from scratch almost.
Absolutely, and he's got to do it quickly. He does have some youth on there, but when I say quickly, that means he's got to get down to the youth program, the Pop Warner,
right,
and get those guys to really buy into his program. And if he hangs out 5, 6, 7 years, he could have a juggernaut.
Sure. All right, so Mann will pitch it out on the option. That's Berger. Nice move, and he's still on his feet as he's able to get across the 35 to the 40, just short of 40, to about the 39-yard line. So a nice pickup of about 13 on that play.
Well, I'm really impressed with really all the people that get this ball for Jasper, whether they slam it up the middle with Dawkins or Mann or Berger or Day or whoever gets to the outside. When contact is being made, they are not going down easy. And Harrison's really going to have to get better at getting better pursuit. If they had half the pursuit Jasper's defense did.
All right, so this time Mann keeps it, and he's able to get across the 45-yard line, so a pickup of about 6, maybe 7 there if he's just beyond the 40. We'll call it 7.
Well, they had Dawkins out of the game, and they slammed Grant Maringer up the middle. Give him a little bit different look, but the same result, man. Just, read the defense, and he's right now he's on fire.
Right. So 2nd down and 3. Clock ticking at 3:47 right now, so plenty of time to move the football down the field and possibly get a score. Now they pitch out on the option, and that's Day this time. Day gets across the 50, but now we're going to see a penalty flag. There's going to be a hold, I believe.
Goodness gracious, and how many times, Craig, do you see that at any level, behind the play?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 'cause Dave was quick on that run there. He was well beyond the 50, I think, by the time we saw that flag come down.
Well, you and I have talked many, many times through this year and the years past about we don't like to see the penalties, but when are you getting the penalties? Now, that one there, first down, I mean, everything's looking really beautiful, but, you're up 29-0. Really controlling the game. If you're going to do it, that's the time to do it.
All right, so they're actually going to spot the football at the 39-yard line. So 2nd down and 9. 3:31 on the clock. Jasper up 29-0, but would like to get to that 35-point threshold, so we'll have a running clock in the second half. Now, Mann will keep it this time, and he is sandwiched right there. Nice defensive play there by the defensive back, Garrett Whipple, coming up, number 5.
Well, when Dawkins isn't in the game, they're really keying on Mann. Now, he's still, hitting his spots, his elusiveness. He's getting 8, 9 yards. That one right there, the Harrison defense got it. But when Dawkins isn't in there, boy, they're sending everybody at number 5.
Right. All right, so 3rd down and 8. Very doable for the Wildcats because, again, they've had some really big-time runs tonight, and actually Tony Lewis is going to call a timeout here. So we're going to take a break with 2:45 on the clock. Jasper up 29-0 here in the first half against the Harrison Warriors on 18 WJTS. 3rd down and 8 for the Wildcats from the 40-yard line. 2:45 on the clock. Cats use their second timeout there to set up this 3rd down play, and Mann's going to drop the throw. He throws it out there and just cannot connect with the receiver. And trying to see who that was intended for. Again, can't quite
Ewing,
see the numbers. Yeah, it was Cooper Ewing. Very good. That Bob Welp,
Hey, man.
he ate his carrots this week.
I'm the best guesser around.
Cooper Ewing, younger brother of Ryan Ewing, as we remember from the Wildcats a couple years ago. 2:41 on the clock, and it is stopped on the incomplete pass. So the Wildcats forced a punt for the first time tonight, and Blake Mann is their punter, and he thought about it, but no, gets a beautiful punt back and sends the receiver backwards, and now we got a penalty flag. So Xavier Thomas received that punt, but a flag right there around the 20-yard line.
Flag on the play.
Berger did a really nice job of pinching him to the outside. Got help from Mr. Sideline.
Still waiting for the indication on the play here. So a block in the back is the call, and we'll set Harrison back another 10 yards, so they're going to be right there at about the 11-yard line. So 2:32 on the clock. Now this is an opportunity for the defense to make a play possibly and try to get that football back quickly in great field position.
Well, if Harrison throws the ball, they'll help Jasper's defensive cause a lot, just from the sense that Jasper's already burned 2 timeouts.
All right, so the Warriors are going to run the football. 31 carries it up to about the 25-yard line. 26, we'll call it.
I think they'll let this run down to about the. Harrison's in a little hurry-up mode here. I'm surprised being pinned back so far in your own territory. Oh, that's my bad. I did see the quarterback eating a sandwich over there on the sideline.
Play clock's at 15 seconds right now. Game clock at 1:57. And another draw play straight up. We'll see if Jasper, why not call a timeout right here? Yep, and Cats will. So we'll force Harrison in a third down situation. I mean, if they run the football, it's going to run some of the clock off because, again, they're just trying to get off the football field at this point.
Well, I would agree with you, Craig. I think that's the numbers way to go. If they put this ball up in the air, you will be hearing from a very shocked individual.
Well, one thing I want to kind of talk about as far as the Wildcats, obviously knocking off #1 Evansville Memorial last week, so that moved the Wildcats up to the top 10 in both polls. They're 7th in the media poll and 9th in the coaches poll. But, you take a look at the polls here, and especially looking at the coaches poll, which, a lot of people will say that's probably a better indicator because, again, they're playing against some of these teams and all that. But you've got Central at 6, Memorial still at 8, Jasper at 9. I don't understand that. And then you got Wrights at 16. And then the media poll, the Wildcats are 7th, Memorial's 8th, Central's 11th in the media poll, and Wrights 13th. So, you talk about the SIAC conference, 4 teams and 3 of them in the top 10 in one of those polls from that conference in the statewide polls.
Yeah, the SIAC is just, you got to come every week.
Right. You're not even talking about an improved North team, and then, of course, Castle's always good, too. So then a little pitch out here, and he's able to hook up with Whipple there, and he's going to be close to the first down. He needed to get to the 21, and he's maybe just a little less than a yard shy.
Well, they threw the ball. Should I give you my shocked voice? There's just too many things that can go wrong with it. And the worst, and probably the one that's going to happen, is the ball's going to hit the ground, incomplete pass, and did they just give him the first down?
They gave him the first down. Without even a measurement. Last week they were pulling out the sticks for the measurement. This is a different crew.
Well, he's got the ball right there on the 21, and it sure in the heck looked like the sticks over there were on the 22, so nonetheless, let's just keep him out of the end zone.
All right, so the play to Whipple goes for a first down, and that runs the clock now with 1:14. And Stone getting out there, 10 seconds on the play clock, so Jasper has used up all their timeouts here in the first half, so there's another draw play up the middle there, and again, Harrison, I think, just trying to get out of here the best they can, so we're inside of a minute. But again, the Wildcat defense really doing the job tonight. No points on the board and just 2 or 3 first downs overall for the Harrison Warriors, forcing punts and giving it up on downs.
I'll tell you, Jacob Potts over here, number 58, the way he comes around that end when they run the ball to the far side, he's under control. He's taking away a reverse, but, man, he gets there fast. There he is, first hit.
All right, so rushing the football, Billy Sears, 5'8", 206. So the stocky running back gets it to about the 31-yard line. They're going to say another first down, so Harrison comes up with a couple first downs on this drive. Stops the clock briefly at 18 seconds. Now it's running again.
I don't think they'll even snap this unless they try to get to the very, very end with 1 or 2 seconds left. So.
Right. In that situation, I mean,
that ain't happening.
Why not try to make something happen? I mean, what do you got to lose at that point? You're down 29 to nothing right now, but Harrison opts to run it out. So pretty well domination, obviously, on the scoreboard, 29 to nothing for the Jasper Wildcats, and they're doing it offensively and defensively, Bob.
Yeah, their defense is tonight. Being the second game, the first one you always. You have your mistakes through there, but I think they're starting to set a tone and letting everybody know that this defense that you're seeing out there, this is what you're going to get. We'll get better with through the season, but Jasper's condition on both sides of the ball is so amazing. These young men are not wearing down, and we have quite a few of them going both ways.
Right,
and they're just battling right through it, and it's impressive.
Well, obviously, last week you got to prepare, with a team like Memorial. Obviously,
Correct.
With the state championship team coming back, and their starting quarterback who threw for as many yards and touchdowns. So, do you think that helps on a night like tonight? I mean, obviously, Harrison, the only way they're going to get anything going is with their passing game. But I think that we prepare for that a week in advance. You think that'd help us tonight?
I think the Harrison coaching staff, they do. You are correct. They have a lot of youth, and we know, as what that can do to a team. More missed assignments. You really don't have the leadership out there getting guys in the right spot. So, he's battling over there, but I don't know. You can look at it so many different ways, Craig.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, he's got a lot of playmakers, and they're obviously playing on the outside. They're running backs and all that. So it's like, obviously, you got to get it in their playmakers' hands. The tough thing is that Evan Doan's just having a tough time doing that.
Well, the way Jasper's playing on the interior of their defense, the cornerbacks and the safeties, they see that, and they just know there's absolutely no way Harrison's going to get through. I mean, time and time again, Jasper shut that down.
Right.
So that lets them stay out here a little bit more on the receivers. They don't have to cheat on the inside.
Right.
So that opens everything up. Jasper's playing so well. We haven't even talked about Dawkins tonight, but yet he's got 2 scores.
Right.
And they weren't little 3-yard runs either.
No,
but
22 and 26.
Blake Mann and what he's doing right now and the way he's reading this Harrison defense is really a good sign for this Jasper football team.
Right. All right, so we're at halftime. The band getting set to put on their show, and we'll take a break. 29-0. Jasper leads Harrison here on 18 WJTS. I'm here at Jasper Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. Actually, we're not even really on the campus of Jasper High School. We're off campus here, but take a look at the numbers. The Jasper Wildcats leading 29-0. Got on the board first with a 22-yard run by Dawkins, number 23, and he also had a 31-yard run. So put the Wildcats up 15-0. Connor Foley hauled in a 19-yard pass from Blake Mann, and Blake Mann then ran 43 yards, and that was just with 5 5:59 to go here in the second quarter to give the Wildcats a 29-0 lead. They actually had a 2-point conversion. Connor Foley caught a pass from Joey McGimsey on a botched kick attempt there. So the Wildcats with 29 and dominating, obviously, on the plays, offensive plays, 25 plays for 252 yards against the Warriors, 29 plays for 95. And, of course, most of those coming on the run for the Wildcats. 20 rushing plays for 233 yards, and led by Blake Mann with 131 yards, and Dawkins 5 carries for 71.
Well, Dawkins right now is averaging 14.2 yards a carry. That's probably going to get the job done. And as fantastic as Mr. Mann was out there in the first half, Mr. Dawkins can look at him, because Mann is, unfortunately for Jasper, only averaging 11.9 yards an attempt. So, it's just one of those things, Craig. You keep those kind of gaudy numbers going, and the night's going to go well for you.
Oh, yeah. Now, Harrison, as far as their offense, is mostly coming through the air, 72 yards on 8 of 16 passing for Evan Doan. And he actually hit number 5, Garrett Whipple, 4 times for 25 yards there. But, for the most part, and actually, like I said, they're wanting to get in the balls into a lot of guys like Xavier Thomas and Trayvon Hooks and, some of their playmakers. And haven't really seen much of Johnny Summers tonight. He's a 6'5", and I don't know if he's injured or what, but he was one that they kind of was a player to watch coming into the season there. But, yeah, again, Harrison is just, just one of those teams that's got a lot of young guys. Again, only 4 seniors on the team, and so trying to play a lot of juniors, sophomores, and even some freshmen out there. So Jasper get the chance to get the football, and, up 29-0 right now. You want to get to that 35-point threshold so you get the running clock if Jasper is going to continue to dominate this game.
Right, and as you and I found out last year, as soon as it starts, it doesn't matter if the other team scores and closes it down, that the clock still is going. Because
right.
In the game that happened to Jasper's making a move, and if the clock would have been normal, they would have had a chance.
Right.
But, you don't want to get down that big. But Jasper is, let's just keep doing the same that we did in the first half, and let's go home and have ourselves a beverage.
All right, so the ball is teed up. Berger, one of the men, back, and actually we got whistles blown here. So I don't know if they weren't ready for the kickoff. I don't see a penalty flag out there, unless I missed it.
Now I'm a little confused myself.
Yeah, so they're not moving it or anything. So I think it was just the officials weren't ready for the kickoff here. So
we'll
try it again.
If I played for Harrison, I was down 29-0 and getting dominated. I'd try to kick the ball off as soon as I could, get this game over, and head home.
All right, so here we go again to start the second half. Ball actually goes off Peter's hand, number 2, and he gets a nice little return there to about the 37-yard line. So Cats have pretty decent field position here to start the second half.
Well, nice job of gathering the ball and getting your knees high. I mean, he had a couple of guys hit him, but when you got the ball and you're running, the coaches teach you to take your knees and drive them up to your chest. Keep those feet off the ground so they can't trip you up. Got him an extra 7 yards.
So it looks like the Wildcats keeping their starters on the field for this first drive of the second half. And again, trying to get a score on the board here to get that running clock going. So actually there's a pitch out there, and that's Day with the football on the outside. Good run there across the 50, and he might do it in just one simple play. I don't see any flags on the field. Oh, and actually he is caught up from behind just inside the 5, so Day wasn't able to take it to the house there, but pretty close. So taking a look at the numbers, let's see, that's 13, 23, 33, 43, 53. So about a 60-yard run all the way down to the 3-yard line is where they'll spot that.
Well, I think that's – did you say it was Brooks, the running back? the number 3. He did a nice job of not giving up on that play. I mean, you know, he showed a little bit of pride, and he was the one trying to get his team fired up, so maybe there's your future leader.
So Mann, just like that, makes it 35 for the Wildcats. So Mann finishes off the final 3 yards, but a great run there by number 31, Isaac Day. So gives his, they had a few touches in the first half there, but finally was able to get a big play there and set up that 3-yard touchdown run. So 35-0, we'll have a running clock right after this extra point. Sermersheim looking to stay perfect on the season. Good snap and a good kick straight through. So Jasper leads it 36-0, just like that, with 11:18 to go here in the third quarter. You're watching the Wildcats here on 18 WJTS. All right, so Sermersheim does the extra point kicking. Sam Leonard out there to kick off for the second time tonight, and he pops one out there. And will this go out of bounds? No, it's actually fielded right there at the 10-yard line. So good penetration. Look who's making the play again. Will Winesapple. Tell you what, if there is an award for special team player this week, no doubt about it, it's Winesapple.
Just a great job. I mean, when the receiver, when he starts breaking to the side and starts giving his body up, that's when you attack. And just like Mann reading, you know, whether to give the ball to Dawkins or pull it back out, that was a beautiful read on when he made his cut and buried him right away.
Right. All right, so that sets up Harrison at the 10-yard line, and we got a running clock. It's 10:35 on the clock right now, third quarter. Little loft out there in the last second. Good job to turn around and make a play as Ian Gieser, the cornerback. So that looked like it had the makings of a big play, but he was able to turn around there and actually shakes up number 1, Xavier Thomas, who was the intended receiver on the play, and he's still down on the sideline over there.
Well, Giesler did a nice job. That you're always taught that read the eyes of the receiver, because once that he can act, you know, all nonchalant, but once that ball gets within 5-10 yards, his eyes will open up.
Right.
And you know, just as long as you turn and you make eye contact with that ball, you know, to where you're making an attempt on the ball, or at least you can sell it to the referees. Great job by Giesler.
All right, so the clock running at 10:02 right now. Doan's going to keep it himself this time to the right side, and a good job defensively coming up was Ross Peter, number 2, making a pop on that play.
Just all facets of the game. You know, I was talking to a gentleman earlier, and he's like, well, Harrison, you know, they're so young and they've got so much to do. This SIAC, even the worst teams in the SIAC, are a lot better than most of the teams that were in the Big 8. So every week, Jasper's got to be focused. And I'm really impressed. In the first 2 games, they have been locked in.
So third down and 11, inside the 10 at the 9. And the Wildcats getting into the backfield. Libby was in on the stop, and I think that may have been also Beaker, number 24.
You know, if a play is, and I'm just being silly here, I guess, but if a play is unsuccessful, like, I don't know, 23 times in a row, don't you think that you would stay away from it? I mean, that interior defense is just eating them alive.
Right. Yeah, the running game has not been there tonight for the Warriors. 13 carries for 23 yards in the first half. A little bit better punt this time from Doan, and it's fielded at the 42. This is a great opportunity for Day, and look at the speed he's showing as he gets to the 20. Now we got flags flying on the field. So he was actually going to be brought down at about the 14-yard line, but we got 2 penalty flags right there at the 29.
Well, when I kind of turned, I got the bar of the window here. Did Jasper hit in the back?
I was watching the play, so I didn't see it. But the clock continues to run there. So the penalty is going to go against the Wildcats. And we'll see what kind of changes we have on the offensive side. It looks like number 7, Grant Young, 5'8", 148-pound sophomore is out there. So he's going to take over the quarterback duties for the Wildcats.
Well, this is a great call by Coach Lewis. You know, you've got some really stiff competition coming not too far down the road. You know, with what these young men have to deal with the coronavirus and all that, you definitely want to limit the opportunities of your player not being available. And taking them out here, you know, midway through the third quarters, trying to get away from those cheap injuries, that's a good move on his part.
Right. Actually, Dawkins was out there, then Grant Maringer, number 1, checked into the huddle, so he comes out of the ball game, so it looks like his night may be finished. Most of the offensive line looks like it's intact for the Wildcats right now.
Boy, Harrison, look how their deep guy is, 8 yards off the ball? Good night.
All right, so Maringer gets it on the left side, and he's going to take advantage of the carries this time. And the ball's sitting at the 42, but players are kind of coming up here at the 40, so looked like it gained more than it actually did.
Well, Grant will, with more experience, that was one that should have came back out because he had the outside, and he looks like he's got pretty good speed. If he gets a few more snaps, you may see him bounce that to the outside.
So clock running here, third quarter, 6:23 on the clock. Jasper up 36-0 over the Harrison Warriors. And it looks like Connor Foley may have been guilty on that time. So it will go against the Wildcats, and now Michael Beeker getting a chance to play some offense. He's going to take the tight end spot from Foley. Cooper Ewing in.
Well, you know, Foley, he did a nice job of being inconspicuous, you know, and coach not pulling him out. But when you do something like that, that brings attention to the coach's eye. And so now Foley's over here on the sideline. The couple of big plays he's made in the last couple of weeks, you want to kind of keep him on the sidelines with a big lead like this too.
All right, so Grant Young under center. He's going to run the option here, and he keeps it. Good quickness shown there by the young quarterback, and he's going to rush across the 40-yard line to about the 37. So nice pickup of 11 yards for the sophomore.
Well, the first unit came out here and was very aggressive with the shoulder that man laid into number 11, knocked his helmet off. And, of course, Dawkins doing what he was doing there. And Berger, him giving out some punishment. It's good to see Young come back in. He read that play perfectly, pulled the ball out, and fighting cats and dogs, you know, to stay up. So the aggressiveness of the youth looks really good for Jasper's future.
So Cooper Ewing is split out to the outside. Quarterback could keep it again, so Young's going to get the necessary first down yardage. Rushes the football down to the 31-yard line, so a 5-yard pickup, 1st and 10.
Well, the second units that, you know, that some of the new jerseys getting in there are definitely showing that the Harrison defense that they're a formidable opponent. These guys are really running hard. They're executing. Line is firing off the ball.
Clock running at 4:15 right now. And this time he's forced to pitch it to the outside, and there's a cut to the inside, and that's actually number 8, Charlie Cabrick. Jackson Cabrick's younger brother, so the sophomore tailback runs it for about 6 yards on that play, and they'll set it right there at the 25-yard line. So this young backfield looking pretty sharp so far.
Absolutely. You know, when things are going well, they're going well. That right there, he held the ball just a little bit longer than he should have, but Cabrick made a great job of getting his hands on there, seen a little opening to the inside, jumped on it, and got himself positive yards.
So 2nd down and 5. This time Young keeps it, but a nice cut up the field. Outstanding run. He's looking for the end zone. Good job there. I'll tell you what, the young sophomore is very impressive running that football right now, Bob.
Did you see him plant that foot?
Oh, yeah.
He was like 0 to 60 in the snap of a finger.
So that's for 19 yards on that run. So Grant Young runs of 11, 5, and 19 so far of his 3 carries tonight.
You know, the way he's running the ball, we could have, with a minimum of 7, 8 attempts, 3 people averaging over 10 yards a rush.
Right. So they got it spotted, they're saying, on the 7 right now. But
Good
there's
read.
Young. He's going to cut inside. Now makes a move to the outside. I'll tell you what, that's an outstanding run. On the play, they were taking away the option there, but he kept it, made a couple nice moves, and gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, you said a mouthful there. Those moves he put on the outside. When he bounced to that one step to the inside, I thought he was going down. And then, like you said, just that little burst, made the move to the outside. And wow, impressive for somebody coming in off the sidelines.
Very much so. All right, so they actually this time bring in Sam Leonard to kick the extra point. So Leonard's a junior. There's a snap, couple steps in, and he pops it right through. So no matter who they put out there, Cats are putting it through the goalposts on the extra points. Right now, 43-0. Clock running. We'll take a break here on 18 WJTS. So the Grant Young show for the Jasper Wildcats, the sophomore. 5 carries on that drive and finishes it off with a 7-yard run, but a couple double digits with an 11-yard run and a 19-yard run before that. So the Wildcats with a 43-0 lead.
I seen a couple of different jerseys for Harrison on there, but for the most part, that was their first team.
Mm-hmm.
You come in there and you do that against the first team defense of the other team. That lets you know you got a pretty bright future.
All right, so there's a line drive, and it actually looked like it could have been going out of bounds, but it was fielded there by Xavier Thomas, number 1, and he's able to return it back to the 28-yard line, so that's where Harrison will start. Clock continues to run with 1:29 to go here in the third quarter, so we'll wrap things up here shortly and be ready for the fourth.
Yeah, they're at this present time, you got to give high marks to every facet of Jasper's game tonight, whether it be defense, whether it be offense, whether it be special teams. Coaches are making the right calls. Shelton, when he called the blitzes, he was calling them at the right time. It's just like the perfect storm.
All right, so Harrison actually makes a change at quarterback, and he drops back to throw. And a nice ball across the middle, but just a little bit behind the receiver there. But that was number 4, Caden Clements. So Clements falls incomplete, but actually looked pretty sharp throwing that football, but short of stature, 5'5", 139 sophomore.
Yeah, well, look at Kyler Murray, down there at Arizona. That's
right.
A little bitty fella, but that was by far the best ball that's come out of a quarterback's hand tonight for Harrison.
Actually, Grant Young, number 7, getting a chance to play some cornerback here, and they're our near side. There's a pitch and catch there, and again, ball falls incomplete, but I'll tell you, nice tight spiral on that pass to number 5, Garrett Whipple, who couldn't hang on to it.
Well, number 14 for Jasper came in and put a good-sized lick on him just as he was trying to tuck that ball away. So Jasper is they're making the right moves tonight. It's just a thing of beauty, really, when you look out there.
All right, so the running clock stops right there at the end of the third quarter, so the Cats will come out after our break for the fourth quarter, up 43-0 over the Harrison Warriors here on 18 WJTS. All right, it's fourth quarter. Jasper 43, Harrison nothing. New quarterback out there for the Harrison Warriors.
Good ball.
Another beautiful ball right on the money. Look at that. An outstanding hookup there from the young quarterback, Caden Clements. Hitting in stride number 1, Xavier Thomas. So Clements 5'5", but he is putting some balls out there for the Warriors, and now they got the football at the 33-yard line.
Well, when you have that kind of speed on the outside, where you would normally throw it to the average guy about 5-6 yards, let that thing go. Let him go get it. And so far, the ball coming out of his hand is just tight.
It's about 38 yards, I believe, on that play. Sets it up at the 33-yard line. Clements throws another bullet right there. Tell you what, he's picking apart the Wildcats right now. So this time he's starting to hook up with his receivers. Right there is Dominic Brown.
Well, the second unit that's come in with the youth that Jasper has, they don't have the size, and they still got their offensive line out there. So they're not getting the pressure that the older guys that had spent a little bit more time in the weight room have been getting, but they're fighting pretty good. There's some good pressure.
He's going to have to give it up there, but no, he actually hangs on and he gets away from it. Look at this. So he's showing the ability to run the football. Good quickness for the sophomore there as he's able to run it. Let's see where they spot it. It looks like he's going to be at the 24-yard line. That should be close to the first down. So what should have been a big loss winds up being a gain of about 1.
I got to be honest with you, Craig. I know that's a little bit of time that we're seeing this young man, but he's just like head and shoulders right now above the other one. The way he throws the ball and his strength on the side steps.
Drops back the throw. Now the pressure's there, and now he's just trying to dump it off, and there's nobody there. There we go. Now the flag comes down because the closest man was number 55, Miles Hawkins, but he's an offensive lineman.
Well, I give props to Coach Shelton right there. He had noticed, as we were talking about earlier, that our defensive line wasn't getting any pressure, so he brought some heat that time.
Right.
And he kind of overshot a gap. I mean, he sent 3 guys through there when normally they have 1, so of course they didn't have enough blockers, and the quarterback had nothing else to do but throw it away or take a 15-yard loss.
Right. So the Cats got really good pressure on that play. And taking a look at some of the numbers out there right now, including Luke Ruckriegel, number 51. Let's see, is that number 64? I don't know if that's Gus Heichelbeck. I think he is in one of the defensive line spots. Again, new uniforms, but still tough to read them. Cameron Whiteside, number 81, playing defensive end. And on the other end, it looks like that's number 44, Noah Willoughby. So penalty shoots him back. So now 4th and 21 with a loss of down on that play.
Well, Jasper's defense is compared to Harrison. Harrison was bringing their back guy up 8 yards from the ball, and Jasper was just playing safety in the middle.
All right, so he's finding time and throws another bullet there, and a good job defensively. Knock it away as number 84. Did they throw a flag on that?
They should have thrown a flag on that.
So it looked like maybe a little bit of early contact by Braylon Bear. But they do throw a flag. But the flag, so it is a pass interference. So Harrison's going to get it right back. But again, is it 15 yards and an automatic first down? I don't think in high school it is. No, it's not. So that's just 15 yards. So now it's still 4th down for the Warriors. Or it is a first down, okay. But they're not moving the sticks.
Oh, well, they did
Hold
a pass.
on.
That can't be right.
Yeah. It's 4th down. No, it's not an automatic first down, not in high school. I didn't think it was.
You see the side judge over there with the fist in the air.
Yeah, so it is 4th down. They need about 6 yards for a first.
Did Harrison switch out the stick guys over there? Because surely our guys wouldn't do that to us.
Well, there's the pass out there, but he's able to get away and still gets away, and he's going to get that first down. So first man up could not make the stop for the Wildcats.
Boy, if you're a fan of big hits, it was there. We just missed it.
So good spin move. Sets up the 1st and 10, so it's down to the 21-yard line. All right, now they give it to the fullback, number 31, and he finds some running room. So Harrison making a move here on this drive. Gets inside the 10. So they're going to spot the ball right at about the 6-yard line. So 15-yard run for number 31. Still don't know who he is, but nice run there for him.
Have you figured out 13?
Nope. Now they little delayed counter there or delayed draw, and he's able to run inside the 5 to about the 2-yard line.
Well, they're not in yet. Jasper can toughen up for a few plays here.
So clock continues to run.
Well, the big difference right now with them running in the middle, the only success they've had is now the size differential is just too much.
5:49 on the clock. Now they give it to the fullback, and a good stop there. You saw who came up there was Luke Dawkins. Textbook tackle on that play. So now 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. 5:23 or 5:29 on the clock right now. Continues to run.
Well, it seems like Harrison, even with this new quarterback in there, you know, they're taking forever to get that play in there. That's no good rhythm at all.
Yeah, because they're down to 6 seconds on the play clock, but the quarterback keeps it, and he's going to be short. So, trying to see who made that stop. Number 6 coming up to make the play, and that's Joey McGimsey. So he stops him just short of the goal line, so it's going to be 4th and goal from the 1. But Caden Clements, who's put together Harrison's best offensive drive tonight. You know, it's Harrison's second team against Jasper's second team, but this quarterback has been very impressive on this drive and looking to finish off. So they give it to 31, and he's able to get across the goal line for the touchdown. So nice attempt there to stop by Cameron Wyside, but Harrison gets on the board for the first time tonight, 43-6.
You know, when you made the comment about, you know, Harrison's second team against Jasper's second team, the offensive line for Harrison's still their first team. Those big fellows are still out there, and yeah, Jasper's a little fresher and all that, but the size differential, you can just see it.
Oh yeah.
And as the Jasper defense, that young defense out there, gets a little bit more time in the weight room, there will be not such a disparity.
So a 1-yard plunge for a touchdown makes it 43-6. Clock continues to run at 3:52. And they attempt the extra point, and was he able to pop it through? Yes, he did. So line drive, bullet straight through, and Harrison gets on the board. Jasper 43, Harrison 7 here on 18 WJTS. All right, so the Warriors set to kick off after their first score of the night, and looks like they're going to be offsides on the kickoff.
Boy, have you seen on special teams? I know most of it's been Harrison tonight, but referees have been getting quite involved.
I know. All right, so Harrison will be forced to move it back 5. Now the kicker's showing as number 8, but they have on their roster Johnny Summers, number 8. And he's 6'5", 170 pounds. I don't think that kicker's 6'5", 170. So
well, maybe
I don't think that's Johnny Summers.
if among the different things they've done that they can correct tonight, putting the right people in the right numbers will help.
Yeah. All right, so the kickoff there, and that actually is Cabrick back there. And so, I'm sorry, McGimsey. It's Joey McGimsey. And he gets a nice run back to the 40-yard line. So number 6, Joey McGimsey, who actually passed for a 2-point conversion earlier in the football game with a nice return to the 41.
They're just, everybody, just running as hard as they possibly can. You know, as a coach, when you're at the end of practice and you got all these studs, you know, flying up and down the field, you tell them when you run in your end of practice sprints, you don't have to be first, but you do have to give me everything you got. And Jasper's, that's a prime example of it tonight. Even, you know, him coming in right there. Nice run, nice finish, right through contact.
So the Cats were actually short a player, now just 6 seconds to go on the play clock, so they're going to have to get this play off. And they barely do. But they give it to Maringer. Maringer, who checked in at the last second, and he's going to take off for a 59-yard touchdown run straight up the middle. So the Wildcats barely got that play off. It's questionable whether they actually should have. But 59 yards for the senior, Grant Maringer. So the Wildcats put another 6 on the board, leave 49-7.
Well, with you sitting there saying whether they actually got it off, you know what Mr. Maringer's saying, oh, yeah, we got it off easy, easy.
He wasn't even on the field until the last second.
Well, you know, he ran so hard to get on the field, and he just kept his momentum going.
All right, so Grant Maringer gets on the board for the Wildcats. Now, who's going to kick? Oh, no, I guess, okay, I was going to say I didn't think their kicker was out there, but hustling out there is number 51, Luke Ruckriegel. So now they got it all set up, and Sam Leonard set to kick the extra point, and Cats stay perfect. So Jasper 50, Harrison 7. When we come back, Cats will kick off to Harrison probably for one final time with just 1:44 to go here on 18 WJTS. All right, so once Sam Leonard kicks it off here, just 1:44 to go. Clock will continue to run and should run out here on this possession.
Well, they're just not putting much air underneath it, are they?
No, but he actually just popped that right out of bounds, so Harrison's going to get it to 35. But tell you what, though, just in this second half with the second teamers out there, we're seeing some pretty good quarterback play between Caden Clements, the sophomore quarterback for Harrison, and then, of course, the Wildcats' Grant Young. Both of them having really good nights here in the second half.
Well, they're both young. They're too young to understand that this is supposed to be difficult.
Right.
It does. It looks like those two young men are out there having fun.
Sure.
You know, and you're right. You know, when we discuss his size, you put him out there with the starters. Yeah, it looks like that. You know, he should be starting because his ball looks a lot better coming out of his hand and all that. But that'd be a lot of pounding on a small frame.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I mean, you know, actually going to run the football here, and the play runs to the 38-yard line. But I'll tell you what, though, he's got a really nice touch. I mean, all of his throws were right on the money, and I mean, he had some nice hookups on that scoring drive there. One for 38 yards, another one for 8.
Oh, this one that he threw here on the near sideline, I mean, that was just perfectly laid over the hands of the receiver.
Right. He also was able to elude a rush on one play. It looked like it should have been a big loss for him, and ended up gaining a yard or so on that run. Another 10-yard hookup. But Harrison looking to just kind of finish it out there. 31 carries it to the left side, so he had a 15-yard run before he finished it off with a 1-yard touchdown run on their last drive. So we're inside a minute right now. Jasper's going to win this football game 50-7 and go 2-0 in the conference. So a good start for the Wildcats.
Well, it really is, and I know Harrison's got a lot of growing to do, and they'll get better over the years, but you say, well, against a stronger opponent, they may not be able to do what they're doing, but boy, they're in the right spots. I mean, they're taking away the outside. Their interior defense has been stellar, so against better competition, do they make the play? I don't know, but you can't make the play unless your body's in the right spot, and theirs are.
All right, so Harrison with 18 seconds. We'll see if this is their final play, and they actually are not going to get the first down, but it's going to be enough to run the clock out as we're down to 6 seconds right now. And again, Jasper winning this football game. And, you know, the main thing with this, Bob, last week's win was key for us, especially getting a good start in a much more competitive conference overall than what we've been experiencing in the Big 8 over the last few years and all that, at least against some of the teams and all that. But you know, Harrison, obviously a young program and one that's trying to make a move with a new coach and all that and a new system. But, you know, I just think it was just very important for the Wildcats to dominate early and take control of this football game, and they pretty well did.
Well, what it does is it confirms to me what you and I and some of the other people that's run this field before in the past have said, that if Jasper wouldn't have put the ball on the carpet against Memorial, that would have been a big spread.
Right.
So tonight they didn't do that. And I don't care what you say. Harrison, I understand. Pardon me. They have a lot of youth, but they have athletes over there.
Right.
Jasper did not. There's an old saying out there, respect everyone, fear no one.
Right.
Jasper didn't fear them, but they did give them the respect. So that interior defense still, it has impressed me. And if they can do that next week, I mean, I'll really be smiling high on the Cats this year.
Oh, no question about it. All right, so again, Jasper with a big win tonight, pretty well dominated from the start. And, good performances, obviously, from Blake Mann and all the guys you expected from him. Lance Dawkins with a couple touchdown runs tonight. Connor Foley had a nice catch and a play there. And, one thing I was looking at, though, I don't think either team turned the ball over tonight.
No.
No,
it was.
Cats had a couple close calls on interceptions. I mean, as far as more close plays on interceptions, but I don't think either team turned it over.
No, they were very efficient. Jasper, their interior defense, it looked to me tonight more, especially when Jasper got the lead, that Coach Shelton may have just, every once in a while he brought heat, but he was getting to the point to where it was just going to be assignments, whether it's Dawkins or whoever run in the middle, it's, take care of the middle. Let our guys out here. We're not going to, try to embarrass these guys too bad. I know they dropped 50 on them, but, when you're, young quarterback and the young guys come in on the offensive line, you move the ball. I mean, you can't fault the coach or the team. You can't say they're running it up. You can't ask those guys not to score.
No, you keep playing football.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. All right, so we'll take a quick look at the numbers. Jasper, look at the numbers running the football tonight. 29 carries for 404 yards. So last week, Harrison gave up over 300 yards to Wrights, and this week to the Wildcats, 404 yards. So total plays, 34 plays for 423 yards. They were led by Blake Mann, 12 carries for 134 yards. Dawkins, 5 for 71. Isaac Day finishes with 68 yards on 3 carries. And they actually don't. Well, Grant Maringer, 2 carries for 60, but, again, Young actually had some big plays for the Wildcats running the football on that last drive as well, and he finished with a 7-yard touchdown run on his drive that he engineered there. But, again, run the football was the key tonight, and the Cats did it.
Well, yeah, and, one thing that's kind of getting overlooked, Jasper goes down to the bowl next week and to play Wrights. You start off last week with the #1 team in the state. You got Wrights coming up, who's been a thorn in Jasper's side for, for eons.
Yeah, always in the tournament too.
Yeah, you always got Harrison. You got Harrison right in the middle. Jasper could have easily came in here, been thinking about the Wrights game.
Mm-hmm.
What they have to do here. Yeah, Harrison got killed by Wrights. I think that some of these guys here on the team, they did what they were supposed to do, but they wanted to send a message. Yeah, Wrights, kind of rolled them.
Right.
But hey, look what we did. And it was on Wrights' home field, and it's on Jasper's home field.
Right.
So I think next week could be a big decider on who does well in this conference.
I agree. And, I think we'll probably get an idea what Wrights is all about. I haven't heard their score against Vincennes. They're on the road at Vincennes tonight. So they had a little bit of tougher football game than what the Wildcats had. But, again, next week will be the big showdown. And, again, it's the return of Tony Lewis going back to Wrights. Of course, he coached there for a number of years, including a state championship run. But, that's going to be a big football game next week for this conference.
Well, to finish up on this, and then we'll get fired up for Wrights through the whole week. I'll be thinking about it. You're going to see the TV networks are going to go nuts on this game.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot going on. It's early in the season, but
right.
Jasper Wrights, I mean, from Kruger kicking that field goal, in games past, and pulling it out for Jasper to, the gentleman down there, gosh, their names, the quarterbacks, the brothers that came in, where Wrights went on their 3-year,
right,
to the state championship. It's all there, but Jasper tonight has really, really impressed me on the first team to the second team. There wasn't a whole lot of penalties on the second team.
Yep.
They were very, very disciplined. And like I said, they get themselves into the weight room, get themselves a little bit more time, a little bit more experience. Jasper's future looks kind of good right now.
Absolutely. All right, so Jasper wins it tonight, 50-7 over the Harrison Warriors. Now 2-0 on the season, 2-0 in the conference, because they're all conference games. So big win for the Cats. And next week we'll take on the Wrights Panthers. Harrison drops to 0-2 on the season, and just has a tough season ahead of them. They play Evansville North next week. So for Bob Welp and Jeremy Marcos on the video, this is Craig Schneider. Thanks for watching Wildcat Football here on 18 WJTS. Good night.
This has been an 18 WJTS presentation of Jasper Wildcat Football.